Once upon a time, in a quiet suburban neighborhood, there lived a family of 4, Mark, Lisa, their 2 kids, and their loyal furry friend, Rusty. Rusty was a golden retriever and had been a part of the family for over 5 years. He was more than just a pet, he was a member of the family, and they loved him dearly. One night, while the family was asleep, they were suddenly awakened by Rusty barking frantically. At first, they thought it was just one of his usual outbursts, but then they heard a loud crackling sound. Rusty was barking non-stop, and the family realized something was seriously wrong. They quickly got out of bed, and as they stepped out of their bedroom, they were hit by a wall of thick smoke. The house was on fire. The family was in a panic, trying to figure out what to do, when Rusty suddenly sprang into action. He ran around the house, barking even louder, trying to get the attention of his family. He didn't stop until he had woken them all up and led them out of the burning house to safety. Once outside, the family stood in disbelief as they watched their beloved home burn to the ground. They were all alive, thanks to Rusty's heroic efforts. The fire department arrived soon after and were able to put out the flames, but the damage had already been done. The family was left with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the memories they had made in their home. As the family tried to come to terms with what had happened, they couldn't help but feel grateful for Rusty's bravery. He had saved their lives and was a true hero. The next day, the family went back to the burned-out shell of their home to see if there was anything salvageable. As they sifted through the rubble, they were surprised to see that Rusty had followed them. He sniffed around the debris, searching for something, and finally, he found a family photo album that had somehow survived the fire. The family was overjoyed to have something to hold on to, a tangible piece of their past that hadn't been destroyed. They were amazed that Rusty had found it and knew that it was another example of his unwavering loyalty and love for them. As the family started to rebuild their lives, they knew they couldn't have done it without Rusty. He had not only saved their lives, but had given them hope and comfort during a time of great despair. They were forever grateful for their furry hero and knew that they would never be able to repay him for all that he had done. Months went by, and the family settled into their new home. They had moved on from the fire, but Rusty had not. He still carried the weight of the trauma and would often bark in the middle of the night, as if he was reliving the events of that fateful night. The family knew they needed to help Rusty heal and decided to take him to a therapy dog training program. It was a long process, but Rusty eventually graduated, and the family was amazed at the difference it had made in his behavior. He was calmer and more at peace, and the family was grateful to have their loyal companion back to his old self. Years went by, and the family never forgot about Rusty's heroic actions. They shared their story with anyone who would listen, and even got Rusty a custom-made collar that had the word hero engraved on it. The family had learned that sometimes the most unlikely heroes come in the form of a furry friend, and they were forever grateful for Rusty's unwavering love and loyalty. Rusty had saved their lives and had become a symbol of hope and strength for them. They knew that they would never be able to repay him for all that he had done, but they vowed to make the rest of his life as comfortable and happy as possible. As Rusty grew older, he started to slow down, but his love for his family never diminished. He would still wag his tail and bark with joy whenever he saw them, and the family knew that they still held a special place in his heart. One day, when Rusty was nearing the end of his life, the family gathered around him, reminiscing about all the memories they had made together. They told him how much they loved him and how grateful they were for all that he had done for them. As Rusty took his last breath, the family knew that he had saved not only their lives, but their hearts as well. They would always remember their hero, their furry friend who had become a part of their family and had changed their lives forever. In the end, Rusty's legacy lived on, and the family continued to share his story with others, spreading the message of hope and love that he had embodied. Rusty had not only saved an entire family, but he had touched the lives of everyone who had heard his story. And so, the story of Rusty, the heroic golden retriever, lived on, inspiring others to see the world through the eyes of a dog and to cherish the love and loyalty that they bring into our lives.